Hello and welcome, Silrace here. The NDA for Elder Scrolls Online was lifted. I was kind of joyed. I had some footage from previous, beta weekend, and then I went and looked it through and it had scrambled audio in many places. So I'm not releasing that, I'm not putting up a video with audio issues in it. So, let's talk about builds, huh? Because background footage right now, some Skyrim looking at perks and skills and stuff because it's Skyrim builds. Can still talk about Elder Scrolls Online. And also, I want to get this out of there. I'm operating with beta information in this video, obviously. So, if anything is wrong about this information, please let me know in the comment sections below, so that anyone else who happens to watch this video also realizes that what I have said has been mistaken or wrong or whatever. I might not have understood something correctly, or I might just not know something, as well as someone else who has had the time to explore absolutely everything, or whatever. But builds, every MMORPG player likes to talk about builds, where you spend your perks and talents and whatnot, and also all the gamers who play any game which has loadouts and setups and whatever else. Firstly, misskilling is not a big of an issue here, to be honest. You can re-spec by paying for it, just like in, for example, World of Warcraft. However, it was a little costly in the, beta itself. We don't know how well this, translates to the end games, how easy you can actually get money in the end game and so on, and is this an issue to respec every 2 days? No clue for the moment. However, note that you can do it. But first, let's talk about stats, attributes, however you want to call them. Health, magicka, stamina. Health obviously the easy one, it makes you more durable, but you don't die as quickly. But stamina and magicka respectively increase the damage on the abilities which they are tied to, which uses them. In this case, for example, stamina, the more stamina you have, the more damage you do with your weapon attacks and your weapon abilities. And the more magicka you have, the more damage you do with your class abilities which consume magicka. At least this is how it worked previously. Let's hope that it's still the case when I'm making this video and hasn't been changed. Anyway, that aside, let's actually talk about some of their uses and what I perceive. My biggest beef with this whole system is the fact that it seems like you have to make an absolute decision. Do I want to PvP or do I want to PvE? Why? Let's say you are one of those people who want the most efficient, effective build out there for whatever you are doing. So that means, because of how stamina works, for example, if you want to do a melee damage dealer for high-end PvE content, you should probably skimp entirely on magicka and get a little bit of health so you can survive occasional area effect which hits you, and just go full mode stamina so you can deal the most damage with your weapon hits and weapon abilities. Does this make sense? I hope it does. PvP, on the other hand, functions a little differently because you break out of crowd control with the same button combination you use to interrupt an ability a player does. For example, stuns and whatnot used on you, you use this button combination which is default to left mouse button and right mouse button together, and you break out of it. But this eats stamina, yeah, and from what I can tell and have seen and have tried and so on, it eats 50% of your stamina bar as a percentage. So it doesn't matter whether you have 500 stamina or 100 stamina, it always eats half of it for a single crowd control break. And this obviously hurts a little anyone who wants to build on stamina for PvP purposes. Because, well, you will always be out of stamina the moment you burn, 2 crowd control breaks. And even burning a single one cuts your stamina bar to half. And since you also use stamina to sprint and to dodge, it is not necessarily a good idea to go full mode stamina, because you use that for movement and mobility, and then you have nothing left for actually dealing damage with your weapon abilities. Does that make sense? I hope it does make sense to you. Whereas Magicka, on the other hand, you can still use your stamina bar for all the mobility, and you can use your class abilities to deal damage. So you might be better off going freaking Magicka for PvP. And obviously health, because, well, everyone knows that you need health for PvP so you don't instantly get blown up by just random stray abilities coming your way. So, let's touch on the final tidbit, especially if you plan to PvP a lot. And that is soul gems and their related ability. Because in reality, you need soul gems to revive people. This is, let's just say this is a concept and idea I am not quite fond of. But basically, if you want to do PvP, small scale PvP, especially with a few friends, every single one of you needs skill points in gathering soul gems, so you can gather your soul gems and use them to revive your allies once they have gone down. This is probably going to be necessary skill as well for a high-end PvE to, you know, revive people. And yeah. Like I said, I'm not exactly fond of this system. I don't think there should be another way to do this other than, you know, forcing people to simply put points into a certain skill for every single person out there. However, it is what it is for the moment, so I would suggest being prepared to get your first skills in soul gem use and soul gem gathering by the time you are level 10, if you plan to do early PvP, as in from level 10 onwards. Take a good look at this stuff, take a good look at the skills you have access to for your chosen class and race and whatnot, and make decisions. Where do you want to go with it? Because then you make less mistakes on making your build. And keep in mind how stamina and Magicka interact with each other, basically. Do you plan to PvP a lot during your leveling process, then it might not be such a good idea to go full mode berserk on stamina only. Thank you very much for watching, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if anything, like I said earlier on, if anything is wrong, please let me know, educate me in the comments section. And thank you again for watching.